Hey guys, so before we start, fun fact, when I had a guitar, this was the first song I taught myself how to play. It's true. Just because I love it. I love the song. This song lives rent-free in my head. Rainy days, you go out, even if you don't have a freaking umbrella to twirl around happily, you go out and this is all I hear when I walk in the rain. This amazing song right here. This little ditty. But what a week. Ho ho, what a week. So, so Tuesday, I don't know what was going on Tuesday. I don't know. But work was oh. I guess because kids are still out. They're out of school right now. I think they go back Monday. But every single person who came in didn't order anything less than like 3 subs each. And then in addition to we got the DoorDash, same thing. DoorDash, all the DoorDash orders, like 2, 3, 4 subs. I had one where the ticket was like, I'm holding it up, and it's just like, woo, and I'm holding it up, and the people who are standing there are like, they didn't do that, but they were just like, and I'm like, and of course it's when I'm by myself. But luckily around that time, the girl who was supposed to come in came in, and she just jumped right in the line. She jumped in the line, and she kind of helped knock some of that down, because I was doing fine by myself until that order started, like those orders started coming in. There was one person with DoorDash who came in. She had like 2 sandwiches, but then as I was making hers, I had like 3 other people come in, and she came in and she's like, "Oh, I'm here, pick up for," I forget the name. I'm like, "Yeah, I started them." And of course she was complaining. She's like, "Oh, FYI, DoorDash, they're paying customers, so they take priority." So I just made her sandwiches first, and then when she left, the guy, he was standing there, young guy, and he was like, "What was she going on about?" It's like, we're paying, what did she think we are? Like, we're paying customers too. But it was him and like an more older woman, and they were just like, "We're sorry you have to deal with this." I just kind of zone out, and I ignore it. You know, I really do. Because obviously I know it's you know, the food business, it's the food business, or just you're working with the public. You're not going to be able to please everyone. You know, just Thursday there were so many people complaining. It's like people came in just to complain. I had one person complain as soon as they got there, or as soon as I got there. As soon as we opened, pretty much as soon as I opened the doors, they came in wanting breakfast. I'm like, we don't do that. And he's like, "Oh, you don't have breakfast? Can I get a sandwich? You know, just sandwich?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can get a sandwich, but it's not gonna be like breakfast, and we don't have anything but bacon, like breakfast wise." And he's like, "You know what? Just forget it. Forget it. I've already waited this long. I can wait a little longer." And then he leaves. I'm like, I don't even remember. I mean, I know Subway did do breakfast. I mean, training videos, I seen them. But ours, we don't do breakfast. We have drinks for breakfast, like milk and orange juice and stuff like that. But apart from bacon, we don't have any breakfast items like eggs or. That does sound good though. A breakfast sub, you know, with some hash browns and some eggs and some bacon and sausage. Oh, that sounds good. So a little bit of hot honey, just. But no, we couldn't do that because we don't have any hot honey right now. We ran out. They gave us like 2 bags and that was it. And that was it. But yeah, Tuesday, it was bad. It was bad. And the CO2 is out in the soda machine. They come in last week to fix it. Still not completely fixed. No idea when they're gonna come in to give us more CO2. Because I was like, huh, I wonder what Starry tastes like. Apparently it's just like Sprite. So I took a cup, I'm like, this tastes like shit. So I noticed that it was awfully like warm and flat and all that, and not carbonated at all. And when it came out, I was like, okay, maybe it's just this one. So I try a little bit of Dr. Pepper, and as it's coming out, you notice like partially water, partial syrup, and it's like, this tastes like shit. There's no carbonation. And then when the girl came in, I'm like, is there a reason why the soda isn't working properly? She's like, yeah, because we ran out of CO2. And I'm like, do we have any idea when they're gonna come and give us more CO2 for our soda machine? She's like, nope. I'm like, weren't these guys just here last week? Yeah, she's like, yeah. But we had to deal with that. We had to deal with the customers. Like I said, no customer was just ordering a sandwich. It was all, yes, I would like 3 footlongs. And there's nothing better than when they don't know what they want. Or they order what they, like they'll say, yes, I would like this. And it's like, okay, what kind of bread? And they're like looking, it's like we have Italian bread and we have Italian urban cheese. You know what? Let's go with the Italian urban cheese. What was like? Do you want it to be a foot long or 6 inch? What did you want a 6 inch? Did you want to? Okay, we'll get it'll be 2 footlongs and a 6 inch. Okay, what would you like on that? And then they just tell you everything. Like you start with the meats, right? You put the meats on, you get the cheese on, you put it in the oven, the toaster oven, and then, but no, it's like, oh yeah, we'd like the Italian hot shot with, and can we get some lettuce and pickles and onions on this? Like, whoa, hold on there, big fella. We gotta get the meats on first. We still got to put the meats on. We gotta get the cheese on. So how about you decide what cheese you want? And then we got a real big decision, whether or not you want to toast it. So while I'm putting these meats on, why don't you figure those? Now, I don't say that, obviously. But, I had one woman yesterday, small Asian woman, clearly, like, obviously English is not her first language, and I was extremely patient. And the other girl was looking at me, probably wondering, like, how is he being so patient? Because she probably would have lost and said, ma'am, I don't understand what you're saying. But I was just like, whatever. Whatever. I've worked plenty of jobs. I mean, I worked at SeaWorld. I dealt with all walks of life. I've dealt with people, like Asians like her, where you can barely understand them. I've dealt with Muslims. I've dealt with people from down under. I've dealt with the Irish and the Scottish. I've dealt with so many people. So her not being able to understand her, I was like, I'm not even phased. It's annoying, but I'm not phased by it. I was just more pissed off and annoyed with the fact that she couldn't decide what she wants. She sees that there's people standing there, and she's like, I want, what does this come with? And then I tell her, and or I love when the people, they come in and they'll say, oh, I want to order, I want one of these, right? And then as you're making them and getting it done, it's like, all right, I have 2 other sandwiches. Why didn't you say I need 3 sandwiches? So I could have had 3 sandwiches going down the line, but instead I made this one, and you waited till I got here and rang you up to finally tell me that you have 2 more that you need. Why didn't you just tell me when I said, what can I get for you? That means you tell me everything I can get for you, not just, let me just do it one at a time. No, tell me everything I can get for you so I can take the papers out, I can get the bread ready, and I can move it on down the line. So that way, the girl who's right there at the veggies, I can put the meats on, slide them down, and she can either put them in the toaster oven or continue to work on them. That way we can get 3 sandwiches knocked out real fast. I hate when people do that, where they order 1 sandwich and then they're like, oh, I've also got 2 other sandwiches I need made. Well, that would have been pertinent information to know beforehand. It would have been great. Or just the people who just come in, basically, it looks like they're looking for a fight. This girl came in, I think it was with her mom or whatever, I don't know. But, I gave her bread and she was complaining about the bread, how it was like slightly torn. Apparently that was the piece that, the other girl, when she was taking it out of the thing, she smacked against the side and it kind of ripped a little bit. And she was complaining about it, and I'm like, I can get you a new piece, like, I can put it onto a new piece of bread. She's like, will you? That every time I have a sandwich, it's perfectly fine, and I don't know, it's like, you know, our ovens here, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, really like squish the bread down to cut into it. Sometimes it's the way it's advertised and nice and plump and you can just glide right through. Sometimes you gotta go all 80s and, you know, work. You know, you gotta get physical with it. You know, it's different. We don't have working stuff here like that. It's different every single time. Like, it's like, I put in cookies, right? So all the cookies came out perfectly fine, except the macadamia ones. For some reason, the insides were still kind of not raw, but they were still like gooey-ish, even after sitting out. Well, everything else, the chocolate chip, the raspberry cheesecake ones, the double chocolate, everything was fine, except for the macadamia ones, which weren't good. I mean, actually, there was more like just like 2 or 3 of them for some reason, and I had to waste those out because when I tried to pick them up, they just kind of broke into several pieces, which is great because then I get to eat them. You know, anytime you something like that happens, you can either throw it out or eat it, like sandwiches. If you have a customer come in and you're making it, but they're like, no, wait, no, never mind, I don't want that, well, then you have to go to the POS, type, put in waste, and it gives you a list of like, you made it wrong, or it was burnt, or dropped to the floor, then like other. So normally for like that, it was, it wasn't that it was made wrong, so you would type in like other, like customer wanted something else. So then after that, you have 2 choices. You can either waste it by throwing it out, or you take it home, or eat it there. It doesn't matter. Eat it right in front of the customer. No, you don't do that. No, you can wrap it up and just kind of put it to the side and wait for whenever you get a chance to sit down. But me, I don't like wasting food. So if like with the bread, if I put bread in and for some reason the oven doesn't want to cook it properly, and you have 5 loaves of bread that are coming out burnt or darker than what we're allowed, I take them home. Cookies, same thing. I remember one of my first days there, it was me and two other people. I was in the back getting the dishes done. They were out there, the cookies were in, and the cookies got a little darker than they should have. And my manager was like, okay, well, we have to waste these out. And I'm like, can we take them home? She's like, yeah, if you want to take them home. He's like, if you don't mind dark cookies. I'm like, I don't care about. So I took like 2 dozen cookies home. So, as long as it's put into the system that they've been wasted out. But, that's very far and few. Like the cookies that I did, like the macadamia ones, like that doesn't really happen very often. 1, because I don't really have to make cookies very often. And 2, because I usually don't have to waste things out, because usually when I do things, they're pretty much correct. But when things do go wrong, it's usually because, actually not usually, it's because of the equipment. You know, like the one day I put this thing into the sandwich into the toaster oven because it wasn't working properly. You'd set the timer for it for like, oh, 1 12-inch, right? And then the clock would start ticking down, and then it stops halfway. And it's like, okay, more, more options, toast more, and then it goes for another 10 seconds. But that 10 seconds almost charred the top completely. It's like, okay, well, I can't give this to them now, so I have to make an entirely new sandwich because the oven, the toaster oven doesn't want to work properly. But, yeah, very seldom do I rarely get to take anything home. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I don't mess up really, so. But yeah, we had people, there was a person coming in complaining about them having to carry out a salad. They were complaining about, normally we have like the smaller bags, or like, for normally if you have like 3-4 subs, and that's what we normally put the salad bowls in, but we didn't have any of those. And she was complaining about, oh yeah, where's the manager? I'm like, she's not here. And she talked about corporate. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still technically new. And I should have told her, it's like, corporate's not going to care. You can call corporate. Corporate doesn't even answer the phone when we call. Okay, so you can try if you want. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But yeah, I had that person complain, the person who complained about the breakfast not being there, the girl about the torn little piece of bread that was torn. But yeah, and then Thursday, our oven, the toaster oven breaks again. It was just fixed last week. It breaks again. We end up not having cash in the register, so we had to, because we had all 20s, so we had to go to Dollar General next door and break a bunch of 20s. But then the card machine wants to go down and not work properly. The cash one was also freezing up, like when someone gives you money and you click like $20, like say they give you $20, you click it and it just like freezes up for like 10 seconds. So, but the card machine was just not working at all. So we're like, cash only. Cash only. And then you get those people like, every time I come here. And I tell people, I'm like, we're just the grunts. We're just the ones that work. That's what we are. That's what we're just the grunts. We're the peons. We come in, we do our job. We don't control the electronics, the tech, the equipment. We work with it, but we don't control it. If the machine is down, that's not our fault. That's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. The most we can do is just let you know beforehand, before we go through the entire process and waste your time by getting to that point and be like, oh, well, the machine's not working. Sorry. Can't give, and have a sandwich made only for you to walk out because you don't have the money to pay for it because you only have a card. But, yeah, it's always something. It's always something. I went in, there was no ham, 1 log of turkey left. Pretty much nothing. A person came in wanting the sweet chicken teriyaki, and we really didn't even have enough chicken because it was a foot long, and you have to do like, the scoops are like that. And then you have the handle right there, and they're just like that big, and you like take 2 big old scoops and put them on. We didn't really even have 2 big old scoops to put on. So it's like, do you have the chicken teriyaki? It's like, no. And of course they get mad and they leave. But we made some good tips. People really do give you tips when they feel bad for you. Like if they see that you are busting your ass. Now, I just did a video about tips and how I don't expect tips, because I don't expect tips. But most of the time you'll find that when you're in that kind of situation where you're by yourself and they can see you're having to deal with all these sandwiches being made and this, yeah, they'll tip you. So, I mean, since there was 2 people there, it was me and the other girl, we split. So I just kind of took very little, and I'm like, you know what, you can keep the rest. At the time, it was only like $5-6, so I only took 2. I just gave her the rest. But you know, when you're by yourself, you can make a lot of tips, you know, and just, like I said, doing voices and all that. It's, you know, it's a nice way to ease the tension sometimes. But, you also find that a lot of the times customers are usually very nice and understanding. You know, it's like I said with the woman who comes in about, well, DoorDash, people are paying customers and they have top priority. And then when she left, the guy and the woman were like, what is she on about? What does she think we are? Like, they're standing in line waiting for me to make their sandwiches. They're paying customers too. They haven't paid yet, but they're still going to be paying customers. Like, what? You know, and, you know, the people always, like, we can have a conversation and they'll just be like, you know what? You know, I really hope your day gets better. I really hope your day gets better. You know, they'll always say, like, no, don't worry about it. You're doing great. You know, we understand it's, you know, it's like, I've got nowhere to be right now. You can take your time. So most people are understanding. Sometimes they may just walk out. Sometimes they'll like, well, I've been standing here. It's like, I'm by myself. Oh, wait, you know what? You're right. I could be doing a lot better. You know what? In fact, I forgot to do something that would make my job so much easier. Shadow clone jutsu. Like, what, they expect me to spawn a clone that just help is just gonna pop out of nowhere? No, you're all there. You're each ordering like 3-4 subs. What do you want me to do? I'm one person. And I'm old. I mean, have you considered maybe just making your own sub? I don't know. Like that one day, these old women came in and wanted 100 freaking subs, and it's like, ladies, it's just cheaper to make your own. I didn't have to deal with them, but the other guy did. And when they left, he's like, they wanted 100 sandwiches. I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, yeah, they wanted 100 sandwiches, all ham sandwiches, and he outright told them they'd just be easier to make your own. We don't even have 100 things of bread made, you know, ready and at a time. We have maybe, I don't know, 40 each. 40 white and 40 Italian urban cheese. And then if we wanted to, we would still have to take the bread from the freezer and put it into the proofer. That alone would take an hour or so. And then it has to be put into the oven for about 30 minutes or so. So it's like, it's still gonna be, you know? But it's, you know, you have your good days and you have your bad days. Like I said, this week, I think it was just because kids are still out. So there's a lot of sandwiches being made. I'm sure every fast food place was hit the same way. But all you can do is just work through it. And we did. But I've never seen so many people complain in one day. Again, it's like they were out for just to fight someone. But like, oh, you don't have breakfast? And I still get a sandwich made? I'm like, yeah, you can get a sandwich made. It's just not going to be a breakfast sandwich because we don't have that. He's like, oh, you know what? Just forget it. I've already waited this long. I can wait a little longer. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. That's all we could do. I told the other girl, I'm like, you know, I wish I could just have a recording of us saying we're sorry, because we have to say sorry so much we have to apologize. You know, and we'll say, it's like, we'll be like, we're sorry about that. They're like, no, it's not your fault. Some people will be like that. We'll be like, it's not your fault. And some people are like, every time I come in here, it's something different. Every time I go into this one or the one on the other side of town, it's always something. Why is this place even still open? Or some other bull crap. But service with a smile. Always smile because you're never fully dressed without one. But yeah, it was just rough week. Rough week, especially Tuesday. Having to make all of those and then not have the ingredients that we needed. Sorry, we don't have any mayonnaise. Sorry, we don't have any ham. Sorry, we don't have... It's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, instead of telling you what we don't have, how about I tell you just what we do have? There's always something. Always something. No. No. No, how is it like the people on Twitter or TikTok with those really people with the condescending look with the really big like Karen glasses and the piercings in their face? They're like, so all these people, and they used to, you know, kind of like do this, but you do what you can, you go to work, you smack rocks together and do your job. What you do. You may not like it, but that's part of being an adult. Doing things you don't like. And that's not just this job, it's just jobs in general. Like, no one really dreams of working in a fast food place or a retailer. But no, sometimes you have to do what you gotta do. Especially if you live in a small town and jobs are already hard to come by. You know? That's part of being an adult. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.